Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be talking about some good old Canadian beef. That's right, the beef between Drake and Tory Lanez. Recently Drake went at Tory Lanez on his recent track Summer 16, and so that got a lot of people wondering what prompted Drake to actually take a shot at Tory. But the fact of the matter is there's been some tension between the two for a while now. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the history between the two, which started all the way back in 2010. Now, before I get this video started, I want to say I'm completely unbiased. They're both Canadian. I'm Canadian. I'm a fan of both of them. I've seen them both in concert on numerous occasions, and so I'm simply just making my observations here. So Tory Lanez and Drake's relationship can be drawn back to 2010 when Tory Lanez made an offer to Drake saying, if you listen to my music and you don't like it, I will give you $10,000. Okay, so it's a pretty bold offer. I mean, I think Tory Lanez was 16 at the time, so $10,000 is quite a bit of money for a 16-year-old. And you can listen to the video for yourself. In the video, even back then in 2010, Tory Lanez speaks on being compared to Drake. So take a listen for yourself.
Now all these artists behind me represent the artists that I personally respect in the rap game and I personally want to play with. So let's start with Drake. Now I know there's a lot of rumors going on about us two, saying I'm your little brother and all that. Let's set the record straight. I'm not Drake's little brother, I never have been. Now Drake, I get compared to you on a daily basis, and it's an honor, I like your music. But I got 10 G's here that says you will love mine. And if for any reason you don't like my music, 10 G's is yours. Now I work hard for my money. My mama always told me that if there was anything I ever really believed in, just go all out for it. This is all I got. Just come play the game, Drake. But keep in mind, I can't lose.
Y'all niggas know who to call when you want that fire shit.
So Drake obviously never responded to Tory's offer, and as the years went by, there wasn't really a relationship building between the two. Both of them just kind of did their own things, but people would always continue to compare the two. People would say that they sound alike. Maybe it's because they're both from Toronto and they both rap and sing. Whatever the case is, people would always try to compare their two styles and say that they sound similar. So on August 17th, 2015, Tory Lanez went on the Sway in the Morning show and did a freestyle, and in the middle of it, he took what was a pretty obvious shot at Drake. He says that he's from Toronto as well, but he's not freestyling off a BlackBerry, which he's obviously referring to the time when Drake was freestyling off his BlackBerry, and he got made quite a bit of fun of for doing it. So listen for yourself and look at Sway's reaction. Sway asks him about it afterwards as well.
Yes, I know these niggas bout to act scary. T.O. nigga only spitting without the BlackBerry. My niggas ballin', niggas they never stallin'. I'm Mike Jordan with a Rawlins sauce.
Took his fronts out. Ooh. He didn't sound like Drake on that. What was that line you said about people be scary?
I was freestyling.
You was freestyling. You coming up here, you ain't rap looking at your BlackBerry?
I don't have a BlackBerry, that's why I said that.
So that line clearly grabbed Sway's attention, so he asked Tory Lanez about it after the freestyle, and Lanez just kind of played it off as if he was just freestyling, like it didn't really mean much. But obviously it was pretty clear shot at Drake. Although it did not grab Drake's attention, he did not give Tory Lanez a response, so the two continued doing their own thing. So on October 15th, 2015, Tory Lanez took what to me is another pretty obvious shot at Drake. He says this whole calling the Toronto the six thing, it's not cool, bro, which is obviously a slight diss towards Drake, considering he calls himself the Six God. His album was originally called Views from the Six. He completely popularized the term, even if he didn't originally create it. Calling Toronto the Six is definitely Drake's thing. But I thought this was pretty hypocritical of Tory Lanez to do, because he actually calls Toronto the Six himself in a number of his songs. He has a track with Honey Cocaine, who's another artist out of Toronto, and it's literally called The Six, and he calls Toronto the Six in the song. So listen for yourself.
Don't act like you never expected it, nigga. I made it. I ride through the 6 and the 7. My bitches is famous.
Again, on one of his other songs, 40 Days and 40 Nights, he again refers to Toronto as the Six. Listen here.
Sipping on Henny, I don't even know where the day come. I've been feeling like I'm the realest nigga out in the 6.
So Tory Lanez went on the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne immediately asks him about the tweet, and Tory Lanez stands by what he says. He said that he thinks that calling Toronto the 6 is corny, and he says he's not going to start calling it the 6, even though he has already on a number of his songs. But he did delete the tweet because he said he wants to support everything that's coming out of Toronto.
I saw you tweet out one time you don't like when people call it the 6. You said it's not cool.
Well, yeah, you know, me personally, I personally feel like the term is kind of corny, but I realized, and I later took it down because I realized I didn't want to alienate a certain audience, and anything that gives the city legs, regardless, I guess, is something that should be supported. So, you know.
So now you call it the 6 also?
No.
No, I'm kidding.
What does that even mean? Where did that come from?
This
Like,
is area code or something?
I don't know. I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Oh.
So P. Rain from Drake's OVO camp responded to Tory Lanez. So this didn't get a response specifically from Drake, but it did get someone from the OVO camp to respond to Tory Lanez. And P. Rain basically said, "Don't make me remind people that you're from Brampton." And essentially what he's saying is that Brampton isn't even a part of Toronto because Tory Lanez is from Brampton. That's like a suburb outside of Toronto. So he said, don't worry about what we're calling Toronto because you're not even from there. So the next thing I noticed between Drake and Tory Lanez was the whole new Toronto issue. So on Drake's album, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, he has a line on 10 Bands which says, "This, that OVO, that season, this, that new Toronto." So here's Drake repping all his movements in this bar, essentially October's very own, top season, and he's saying this, that new Toronto as well. So he's more or less calling his music the new Toronto. And so this track was released on If You're Reading This Too Late, which came out February 13th, 2015. And then nearly 10 months later, Tory Lanez drops a mixtape called The New Toronto. So I'm thinking maybe this bothered Drake a bit, and this could have been one of the final things that caused Drake to throw a shot at Tory Lanez. So I think all these subtle shots finally motivated Drake to respond, and I think that mixed with Tory Lanez's recent success, you know, Tory Lanez has been featured on a lot of big artists' albums, and also he's received a lot of success with his new hit, Say It. You know, it's definitely the biggest hit of his career. So I think beforehand Drake felt that Tory Lanez wasn't big enough to even acknowledge him, but I think now Drake felt that now was the time to respond, even if it was only a bar or two. And the diss that Drake did throw at Tory Lanez was in direct response to the mixtape title of The New Toronto. So you can listen for yourself, listen to the diss Drake towards Tory Lanez, and then after we'll listen to Tory Lanez's response and also what he had to say in an interview about Drake dissing him.
All you boys in the new Toronto wanna be me a little. All your exes know I like my O's with a V in the middle. You would love it if I went away and didn't say nothing else. How am I keeping it real? By keeping this shit to myself. You was never gang, 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 gang. You was never one of us. Had us fooled for a minute there, now we done all grown up.
So shortly after Drake released Summer 16, Tory Lanez was interviewed by Revolt, and they asked him about the diss. In response, Tory Lanez said Drake could diss him 20,000 times and he would never diss Drake. He says he's a big fan of Drake and that he's finally become successful, he's doing well, making money, and he doesn't want Drake or anyone to take that away from him. He says, please don't take that away from me. So I think that's pretty different from everything we had just been speaking about. I mean, to me, it's pretty clear that Lanez had been taking some shots at Drake, even if they weren't that obvious. To me, they were obvious, but now he's saying, you know, I don't want any issues with Drake. I would never diss him. I think what happened is he was trying to get Drake's attention. Finally, Drake threw him a little diss, and then he got scared.
What did he say? That was really, I mean, if people really do believe that it was a diss or whatever the case it is, I don't know what that man has against me. I'm getting money over here. I'm good. I'm young. I'm finally in a position to feed my family. Please don't try to take that away from me. All I want to do is rap, you know. And I'm a fucking Drake fan. Like I don't like, you know what I'm saying. Drake could diss me 20,000 times. I'd never diss him, bro. Like I'm a fan, bro. Like it is what it is. I have no negativity on my side. But all blessings.
That being said, he did respond to Drake's diss on song Line Up the Flex with ASAP Ferg. It wasn't a direct response to the New Toronto line, rather it was a line to the gang 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 line, which I thought wasn't necessarily directed right at Tory Lanez, but obviously that's how Lanez felt about the line. And so he's basically saying, you know, I was never part of your group, you know, it was always one umbrella mob, which is his set. He was never part of OVO, he never wanted to be a part of it, he always did his own thing. And so that was basically his response to Drake's diss on Summer 16. He wasn't, you know, dissing Drake, he was just trying to clarify things, I guess, on the song Line Up the Flex.
When I see them in the street and brush them off. For them niggas, they was hating on me, even though a nigga used to tell them all. I was never ever gang, 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 I was one umbrella mob.
So that's where the beef lies right now. Hopefully they can squash it. You know, as I said, I'm a fan of both of them. They're both really talented, both from Canada. I'd like to see them do well. Maybe they can squash it and even collaborate together. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the beef. Who are you siding with? Do you think Tory Lanez is scared? Is he backing out? Or maybe you think that those weren't even disses in the first place. Maybe you thought that he wasn't going after Drake and those were just misunderstandings. Anyways, let me know in the comments. Please make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.